Hey, all right. Welcome to Bigfoot Encounters Live. Today is going to be a wild show. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, but I'm glad to see you all here. I'm going to go ahead and wait until I get the go ahead from someone in the chat that you guys can hear me. So I'll give that a minute, and then I'll start doing a roll call here. All right. Okay, cool. Thank you, Bobby. All right. So we got first in is James Rupp. Good tune. Good to see you. We got Sasquatch Sister. Good to see you again, friend. Ready and waiting to hear. Alexandra85 is here. Thank you for being a YouTube channel member, supporter, my friend. We've got Diana Hill. Evening, everyone. First time being here live. Hope you all will have a great evening. Good to see you. Thank you for being here for a live show. Abbott, we need, I don't know about that. Mark, peace. Good to see you, Mark. We got Pamela Dotson here. Hello from Maryland. Rocky Toppin is here. Hello. Got S Couch, ready from southeastern Kentucky, deep in a holler. Oh, man. You're in the action. Abbott is here. Piece of pie. Sasquatch Sister, got to say, you're the only channel I've set an independent alarm for. Well, thank you, friend. We got Bobby Younts here. Good to see you, Bobby. Thanks for being a YouTube channel member as well. Sherry, hello, friend. We got Laura is here. Hello. Melanie is here. Good to see you, Melanie. Hello, Jeremiah. I'm headed into the woods. Glad you'll be keeping me company. Awesome. Have fun. Be safe. Token01, hello. All right, and then we got Sound is here. Hey, Voices. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Bigfoot 17, hello from Central Illinois. We got Jana over on Facebook. I can hear you. Crazy Backyard Chicken Man is here. Hey, dude. Hey, friend. Thank you for being a YouTube channel member as well. Jason, hello from Ireland. Awesome. Oh, we got Jeffrey. Jeffrey's been leaving some great comments. Good evening. Good to see you, friend. All right. We've got tons of people. Kane is here. Good to see you. Carl is here. Good to see you as well. Saleya, good to see you, friend. Hello from Washington State. YouTube channel member, Patreon member. I know that for sure. Let's see what we got. We got Machine Gun. Cheers from Ontario, Canada. Oh, man. Lots of Bigfoot action up there. All right. We got Space here. I thought you were in Oregon. Hey, good to see you, friend. Thank you for being a YouTube channel member as well. Okay, so Cairo, good to see you. I'm getting back to you. You don't want to see my email right now. It's wild. All right. Man, the chat is popping off. I'm glad that listeners are chatting with each other down in the chat. It's a good time. So many people here. Okay, so let me go over how this works. So my name is Jeremiah from the Bigfoot Society Podcast. This is Bigfoot Encounters Live, where the way that we hope it works is that we have people call in with their Bigfoot encounter. I talk to them live. So if you've got a Bigfoot encounter, you can call in live. Now, the trick is that you want to go to bit.ly/Bigfoot forum first. That's a guest release because these are on... this is live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and it's recorded for the podcast. So no guarantees, but it'll probably be in an episode next week. Unless, well, it'll probably be in there. So guest release form in order for me to use your audio and to record you. Then you call 515-809-0165. Let me make sure that my phone is all good to go here real quick, because it's got to be good to go. Okay. Here we go. Holy mackerel. Let me get caught up with the comments. Let's see. Where are we? Married to the KGB. Hi there from UK. Jonathan, hello from the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in New Mexico. JC, Judy from Virginia. Delroy, how's it going? Richard Shoemaker, first timer from Virginia. Good to see you. Abbott, Skunk Ape Central, checking in from Ocala, Florida. Oh, man. Good times. Marqueso, 1600. Good to see you, friend. Chris Mitchell, hello from Fouke, Arkansas, home of Boggy Creek. Good to see ya. Hey, we got Rhonda here. Hello, everyone from Connecticut. Oh, man, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the chat here. Let me get... Okay, now the phone is ready to go. Now I got Do Not Disturb. So if you've got a Bigfoot encounter you'd like to call in with, the phone lines are now open. This bit.ly/Bigfoot form, that's also in the description, so you can just click that little link. And, oh, did I already miss one? Oh, snap. Uh-oh. Guys, I hope my tech works good today. Let's try again. All right. I got to restart my phone real quick. Give me a minute, guys. I already had someone call in, but we're having issues connecting to the tech here. So I am giving that person a call back after I restart my phone. Let's do some more shout outs while we wait here. Little one, evening, Jeremiah from the Woodsey, UP. I'm going to guess of Michigan. Good to see you. Gene, how are you, friend? Hello from Eastern Iowa. Ooh, Abbott is saying, saw 9-inch dogman prints in Chagrin, Ohio. Ooh, snap. That's wild. Let's see. Come on, phone. Let's go. Okay, we're restarting. Guys, the summer is upon us before we even know. Man, it's more than halfway through May. Wild. School's going to be over for the kids before we know it. Then the festivals and the conferences are going to start. Monster Fest is here before we know it. I'll be at Monster Fest 2 in Canton, Ohio. If you want to see me there and see a live episode of Bigfoot Society, you are more than welcome to. I'll see you there. And then if you're going to be at Sasquatch Summerfest in beautiful Oak Ridge, Oregon, I will be there as well. So, good stuff. All right, we're going to give it another try, guys. Thanks for your patience. Okay, here we go. Let me know right away if you can hear this person. Hey, this is Jeremiah. How's it going?
Good, man. Sorry about that back and forth. I already filled out that form, too, by the way.
Okay. Thanks, man. And what's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. And awesome. Let me make sure that my Do Not Disturb is on real quick. And if someone in the chat can let me know if you hear Jonathan, we'll wait for the go-ahead there. And where are you calling from today, Jonathan?
Okay. I was a comment from the Blood of Christ Mountains in New Mexico.
Oh, snap. Yeah, okay. Well, they hear you. So, Jonathan, feel free to take it away and share what you've experienced, my friend.
Okay, well, it was Fort Benning, Georgia in 2006. And we were doing a training exercise called a Table 12, where we were mechanized infantry. So basically we just drive around in Bradleys. I don't know if you know or aware what those are. They're like small tanks with ramps in the back, the old troops. And we were doing a Table 12 at night. And my squad leader, he was the tank commander and I was the driver. And I hopped out of the Bradley to go use the restroom. And when I came back to him, he said, "Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing over here? I thought you were over there at that corner." I said, "No, I was over here at this wood line." he said, well, when we get back to the base, I'm going to tell you what I seen. So when we got back from the table 12, he told me that he was scanning for me in the wood line because we had to ramp up, which means we had to, get in our vehicles and go. And he said he seen about a 5 foot to 6 foot tall, like cat creature that was standing in the wood line and had green eyes. And he said as soon as he spotted, he was calling for me. And he said as soon as he seen it, he was yelling for it, thinking it was me to come on, like we got to go. And he says it got down on its belly and low crawled backwards back into the wood line. And it said it looked like a cat person or a cat being standing. This is the only thing he described it. And I was like, well, this is crazy. Fort Benning's weird. And he actually had a Bigfoot encounter in I think in Fort Carson. He one of his tank commanders was driving a tank, and there's a loader and a gunner next to him, and the gunner or the tank commander sits in the right, and then the loader or gunner sits in the left, and there's two hatches. Well, he got down and it was tugging on his tank commander, and he's like, hey, you need to look what's out there. And he stood up and he's looking around. He's like, I don't see nothing. He said, look to your left. And he looked to his left, and the tank was driving at a slow, steady pace. And he said he turned and looked, and he seen a Bigfoot that was eye level to him inside the tank. And I don't know if you know how tall tanks are, but they're pretty tall, especially when you're standing on the when you see a guy exposed in a tank, he's not sitting in a seat, he's standing on his seat. So if you ever see like old war footage of guys exposed above a tank, in the hatch, it's because they're standing on their seat. And he turned to his right and slowly closed the lid and said, don't tell anybody. But obviously somebody found out. So yeah, I remember him telling me about that story in Fort Carson. So those are my my two stories.
Where is Fort Carson?
Colorado.
All right, I'm looking that up real quick. That's wild. I mean, my tank knowledge comes from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, to be honest.
Okay,
so
that's cool. I actually lived the Blood of Christ Mountains is where Red Dawn was filmed in 1984.
Oh snap! Yeah, totally. Okay, so that's south of Denver. Oh man, that's a wild story. So eye level with the guy in the tank. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So if you just look up like height of M1 Abrams tank, and then imagine just a couple feet above that because he's standing on his driver's hatch or standing on his seat. So, I thought that was probably I'd say in the 90s. That happened. Yeah. I've heard some other crazy stories and stuff before when I used to live in Kentucky, but it's hit or miss with some of the stories you hear. There's guys that talk about Sasquatch, but I haven't never seen one myself. But that cat story was crazy because I was in proximity and he thought it was me. And the fact that it got down, like, what do they call it? The ring. Imagine like it crawled like the ring, but backwards back into the wood line. Yeah.
So this is outside of Bigfoot, but it reminds me of an interview I did way back where it was a gentleman who was talking about the proving grounds in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a cat creature similar to that was seen out there quite a bit, but it was like they think it was like a hybrid type thing. So just super weird stuff, man. Not sure what to think about.
Have you seen that YouTube channel of that Bigfoot researcher that passed away from a brain aneurysm recently? And
what's her name? Or we're talking about?
No, it's the man,
Scott Carpenter,
the guy. Yes. Oh man, I was watching some of his stuff, and his son made a short upload about how he thinks that the EMF or something that the big Sasquatch was giving him could have been a contributing factor to his aneurysms. And man, I think his son was right when he said, you got to be careful going out and looking for these things because you just don't know what level of threat they are to you,
Absolutely.
physically and energetically. Like you just don't know. And it's just kind of tragic because this guy put a lot of work into his videos, man, and the evidence he caught was insane. Like I haven't seen that much good solid evidence captured. And it's just kind of tragic. That guy literally gave his life to try to let us know what's going on with the Sasquatch and Bigfoot thing. And I think people should still subscribe his channel and give some support. And if you want intel on it, I think that's a good route. But I always recommend everybody, if you go out in the woods, if you're expecting Bigfoot or not, to carry a firearm with you of some sort, man.
Yeah, be prepared definitely for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's mountain lion and bear out here. So, but there was a big fire that came through here, but I haven't seen any Bigfoot activity in this area. They say that the chupacabra is real big out here because the Hispanic or Spanish history here, and then the crying wolf. I forget what they call her. But that's the story I got, man. I'll clear out the mic so you can get other callers in.
I appreciate you calling in. I don't hear a lot of military base stories, so I totally appreciate that. Let me know if you hear anything else in the future, and thank you so much for calling in, man.
All right. God bless and be grateful, man.
You too, my friend.
See ya.
Ooh, right off the bat. I love it. Some wild, guys, tonight's going to be heated up. It's going to be lit, as the kids say. I'm going to call someone back right now. Again, let me know in the comments if you can hear right away, please.
Hi, this is Melanie. I can't get to the phone right now, but leave me your name and number, and I'll call.
Melanie, I tried to call you back. You're welcome to call in again if you would like. All right. Right off the bat, man, Catman stuff, I'm not sure what to think about it. But the Bigfoot, that's eye level with the guy in the tank. That's wild. Ooh, wild stuff. Guys, we've already got 80-something people in here. I appreciate you all being here. Again, if you're new, this is Bigfoot Encounters live from Bigfoot Society. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter you'd like to share, please call on in. It will be live on YouTube. Mothman 46, who let you in the building? Just kidding. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, brother. It'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You need to fill out the guest release form, please, first, bit.ly/Bigfoot form. And then you can call in 515-809-0165. And we will see what other calls we get tonight. Even if we don't get any calls, we're still having a good time in the chat. Let me know if you are new. If you are new here, if this is your first time with a live one, let me know in the chat and let me know where you are watching from. Let's see. Gotta check my voicemail here. All right. Hey, this is Jeremiah. Oh, snap. Hold on. Hey, Melanie.
I think my things are all up here. Yeah, they're all good.
How's it going? This is Melanie, right?
Yes, sir. How are you, Jeremiah?
I'm doing great. You?
I'm okay.
Awesome.
So I didn't go in the woods yet, but I'm going.
Uh-oh. Okay, what are you going to do out there?
Because I'm a night investigator.
Okay.
So I look for things. I go, like during the day, I go out and I look for tree structures. I call it tree talk. Oh my God, you would not believe the things I've found. I'm gonna publish a book with just pictures of the tree talk.
Wow.
But I really wanted to share like two, and they're not long stories.
Okay.
One scared me bad. The other one's just kind of cute and it made me smile. But I just wanted to share, and I signed the form.
All right. Well, feel free to go right ahead, Melanie.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in so I how do I want to say this? So okay, so I had a lot of Bigfoot and Dogman experiences and a crawler, but then we moved, okay, and then and then I just kind of forgot about all of it. But then I was fishing one night, and something happened that absolutely blew my mind and made me know that okay, they're here, and I had the greatest summer. This area was so active that it was like the coolest summer. It was scary, it was fun, it was exciting. It was just great. And then I think they kind of moved on. But so what I want to tell you about though was okay. So I raise orphaned raccoons, and when you release them, you have to go feed them. So I went to this area where I had released some baby raccoons, and there were always Bigfoot structures here, like crazy ones, up way up in the trees and X's and just like structures built. And I never felt any fear. I had seen things. I saw a white. I don't know if it was a wolf. I was way back in the woods. It was at night, and there was a white wolf. It was huge, and it was just standing there looking at me. And I just told it, you're okay. I'm going this way. So I just walked the other way. But anyway, so one night I was back there, and so I had already fed the coons, and I was just walking through the woods and with my headlamp, and it was probably, oh my God, like 1 a.m, 12:30, something like that. All of a sudden, something behind me, like 15 feet, dropped, and I know this would happen because nothing else feels like this. It dropped to the ground. It had to have been in the tree. Dropped to the ground behind me, and it hit so hard that it jolted me off, like my feet jolted. Like when it hit the ground, I like jolted on my feet. So instantly, this feeling of dread, of like death, like everything is. That feeling when you are around a dog, man, the feeling is like totally different than it is with the Squatch. It makes you feel like you're gonna die, and you just feel like you can't move, you can't breathe, you can't move. And that's how I felt. I was standing there and I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, and I knew. I didn't turn around, but I knew it was a damn dog man behind me. So I just, I stood there and I said, when I could talk again and move again, I said, listen, I'm not going to bother you. I'm not even going to look at you. Just let me walk to my car. So when I can walk, I walked very slowly back to where my car was parked. The whole time I could hear this thing behind me walking, very, not loud, just very quietly, very gently, but I could hear, like the twigs were snapping and the leaves were rustling. And I knew it was following me. When I got to my car, I never did, I wish I would have turned around and looked, but I was true to my word and I didn't. I went to my car, I drove away, never looked. But because of the feeling I had, I'm pretty sure it was a dog man. So then these same woods, okay, so the structures, there's all these structures. And all of a sudden one day, in the midst of all these Bigfoot structures, was a tree that was about maybe 15 feet around, 13 feet around, and about from 12 to 15 feet up this tree, something had shredded it so deep that, it went like a third of the way into the tree, and it was just literally shredded. It was claws. It was crazy, the shredding, and it was big and deep. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, I know that's not Bigfoot. Like, that's what Dogman does. So then after that, I started noticing different structures in the woods. There were the Bigfoot structures, but then there were like weird structures. So I started asking all my research friends if dogmen make structures, and they all said no. But these were really crazy structures, and I don't know if if you've ever been near a Sasquatch, the feeling is it's scary, but it's not like dreadful. It's kind of like you're scared, but not like you feel like you're gonna die. When you're around a dog man, though, that feeling is death. It is dread. It is hopelessness. It's just the worst feeling in the world. So I just wanted to share that with you to let you know, yeah, sometimes they are together in the same area, because I know that shredding wasn't a Bigfoot, and I know what dropped behind me wasn't a Bigfoot. I've seen Bigfoot. I've seen him 3 times. I've never had that. I've been scared, but I've never had that dreadful feeling. Someday I'd like to come on your show and just tell everybody some of my experiences I've had. So I just wanted to share that. Oh, and then the quick cute thing.
Right.
So in this area, when I found out this area was so active, I was having a blast with these guys. So I had a cheesecake that had like 3 pieces of cheesecake left in it, and it was in a container with a snap-on lid. I took it back there to where the Bigfoot activity was. I put it way up on a fallen tree. The next day I came back and it was gone. And my first thought was raccoons. They got it. So I looked like 25 feet all around the area. I could not find that container. So I thought, well, they just took it off somewhere. But the next day I came back to the area, that damn container was on that tree, clean as a whistle, with the lid right beside it. And like, this was an area that people, like, no people go back in here. It's not a trail or anything. So I honestly think the Bigfoot put it back up there, like, okay, fill me back up.
Melanie, you want to hear something wild?
Yes.
When I talked to my buddy Ronnie Roseman, he had the same thing happen to him up in the woods outside of Oak Ridge, Oregon.
No way.
Yeah, same exact deal. It's wild. So
he put something up there for him to eat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a piece of blueberry cobbler or something.
They love
it's crazy.
Sweets.
So
and they left the thing for him. They left the thing for him to refill.
Yeah, they left it like.
Isn't that so awesome?
Yeah, it was wild. So it really messed with him, because he was like, "What is going on?" So
I know, because raccoons don't do that. One night I was back in there, and I was gonna set a camera. I kept setting my game cam up. I was looking for a place to set it, and I started looking for mushrooms. So time got away from me. It got really dark, real late. I didn't have the headlamp or anything. I just had my phone and this game cam. I went into this deep part of the woods to set it on the tree. And all of a sudden, from like 20 feet to my right, there was an owl call. And I mean, you know what a real owl sounds like. This was not an owl. This was like crazy sounding. Right after it, to my left down in the swamp, was an answering call, exactly the same. 5 seconds later, the same thing from my right to my, and I'm thinking, I am right in the middle of these guys. Like, wow. I don't have anything. I'm like, there's a phone and a camera. I just went to the first tree, tied that camera in a knot on the tree, and got the hell out of there. I'd have seen Bigfoot by now if I wasn't such a chicken.
Melanie,
I've seen him, but far away.
Right. Can you share if you can't, don't worry about it, but what's the region that you research in?
Oh, well, first it was, I'm going to tell you right where it was. It was Atwater, Ohio.
Okay.
It's in Portage County, and it is full of old mines. This town has nothing. It has one blinking light. It's nothing but woods and woods as far as you can see. Railroad tracks. And anybody that would like to go there, I will show you where the habitats are. There's a huge X, I mean like 60-foot X that marks this area. And we've got lakes and reservoirs and canals, like they all attach. So in the the Bigfoot sightings are really heavy there. But then we had a dog man walk through our yard. This was all in Atwater. I saw a crawler in a tree. I had a dog man go across the road in front of my van. And I saw like some scary things there. But then we moved. Well, now we live right by West Branch Reservoir in Ohio. Northeast Ravenna, Ohio is where it is. And the dam is like through my woods and in my backyard. And I'm telling you, this is the craziest place for encounters. So if anybody ever wants to go with me, I want to go investigate the mines in Atwater, the old mines, and the sand pits. And I just don't want to go alone. I research alone at night, and gets me like I don't want to go into the mines alone. I need someone to go with me. And also out here at West Branch, there's a few places that I'd like to check out that I'm a little scared to go alone. So if anybody would like to get a hold of me, it's can I give my email address?
Melanie, it's up to you. The show has reached, so just be aware of that.
Okay, should I what would be a good way to have people contact me?
So I
really want to go look.
Right, I know. I mean, you can do email if you want. I don't do in between anymore, just because I
understand.
After the whole Mark Paul thing, I had no.
I understand completely. Okay, so it's nellg4th@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I just need someone to go with me because, like I said, I research alone at night. Like I fish at night, I research at night. I'm always alone. And I've had some of the coolest experiences you would not believe. But God, there's so many of them. I'd love to share them all with you sometime.
Reach out to me, Melanie. I think you already have, but send me another email. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I filled out the form that I need to fill out. So
okay.
I would love to come on your show and just share some of these things.
I know. We've been talking about it for a while. Yeah.
I know, baby. You're so busy.
All right.
Jeremiah, I really appreciate you letting me share this. Thank you so much.
You got it. I'll talk to you later. Okay, Melanie.
Okay, babe. Yeah. Okay, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye. Good times with Melanie. Always a good time. Oh, my goodness. Guys, it's heating up. Mothman46 says, I'll go to the mines alone. Well, there you go, Mothman. MM46. Hey, Mark Paul is in the chat. Hey, pal. Good to see you, friend. Mark Paul is going through some wild stuff. All right, we got another one already. Another person to call back. Remember, let me know as soon as you can if you hear the person on the phone. Thanks, guys. Here we go.
Hello?
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hi. Are you on the show? Are you live right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, who is this?
Oh, my name is, I go by Jan. I filled out your little Bitly form.
Oh, thank you.
And then I called. Yeah, it's pretty clever. I called and I was trying to leave a message, but I think I made it too long and I got cut off. So listen, I'm a kind of a horse person when I can afford it, which isn't often. I adopted a couple of BLM Mustangs. One was a mare, and my friend in Wrightwood Phelan area wanted to use her for breeding to her black quarter-horse stallion. So the mare was delivered out there, and then I went out there to see her, and I had this 1970 Ford pickup truck, which was sort of a beater, but a lot of fun. Had some real adventures in that truck. And when I bought it, it had a built-in camper, and somebody had really built it in there pretty snug. So along with it came a couple of crank-up camper jacks, I could lift it out of the truck, but it felt as if somebody had really built that thing into the truck, and it was difficult to get out. So we backed up onto her property where she told us she wanted the camper. I was just going to give it to her. It was in my way. And so we're back in there, and the soil, it looks firm, but it's just sand, and it just started to kind of break down and crumble up. Pretty soon, the truck is up to the axles in sand, and the little tripod, crank-up dealies are going out of control. They're going sideways, and the camper's halfway in, halfway out of the truck. It's cattywampus. Looks like it might fall onto the cab of the truck, but we were just having so much fun laughing and carrying on. So, but then all of a sudden, it was right about dusk, and all of a sudden this feeling of dread, deep like you're going to die kind of dread just came over both of us at once. And I'm very kind of outdoorsy. I worked most of my life out in the field, 26 years with the phone company, worked in bad neighborhoods. I don't scare easily, but there was something really, really scary. And we felt like it was being projected onto us from something that was watching us. And I wasn't even really aware of Bigfoot back then, so I didn't have a clue what was going on. But my husband and I both felt it at the same time. And we were fighting the urge just to run, but there was no place to run to. And we had to finish the job and get that camper off of the truck. And we also had to kind of dig out the rear end of the truck. It was buried. So we just had to kind of, just toughen up, and we got the job done, but nothing happened. I didn't see anything. But now, in hindsight, retrospect, I think that was Sasquatch country. And I know it's not far from Edwards Air Force Base, and I've heard stories about how they're there. They're out there in the high desert, years passed, and my husband died. He died now about, it was in 2018. So time flies by, and I had to sell the house, and I bought some property out in the Ozarks. And as luck would have it, the county that I bought my place in, it's 60 acres, it's called Booger County. And I think you know what that means. So I haven't been able to make it out there. I'm living in Bakersfield temporarily, but
Okay.
Anyhow, but there was a guy, a friend of mine. He needed a place to go in a crisis. He had basically a dozen dogs that he just didn't want to part with, and he needed a place to stay. I needed someone to kind of watch the place because I was getting a little bit of pilfering, and so anyway, we had a deal. He went out there, and he likes to ride his bicycle. He's a pretty athletic guy. He likes to ride his bicycle up this little county gravel road with the dogs in pursuit. And that's how he exercises them. So one day he's out there, and I guess he stopped at a point in the road, and there were some bushes there, and he heard like a deep growl. And I said, you've had your first Sasquatch encounter. So the dogs were all looking, but he has some pretty good dogs, but they didn't run, but they didn't go in there either. So he was making a lot of fun of a neighbor who just passed, a guy named Stan. Stan was trying to tell him how he'd seen a Bigfoot, and this guy, he just doesn't believe in Bigfoot, but I think he's going to get his mind changed.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm absolutely on board with you. You're talking about the Ozarks down in Missouri, right?
Yes, it's you could almost throw a rock at the Arkansas border.
Yep.
Yeah, so they don't call it Booger County for nothing, I'm sure. He was laughing about that. He said, "What are they talking about? Are they talking about the kind you kick out of your nose?" Exactly. I said, "No, they are not. And no, they are not, my friend." They said, "That's an old time term for the boogeyman." And so he likes to get out there and ride his bicycle at night with those dogs chasing him. I think most people, they're in at night and they stay in at night. I think that's the kind of place it is. So he'll get his wake up.
It'll be interesting. I'm sure there'll be something that will happen to, and this gentleman will then know what's going on in the area. But if it does, definitely let us know. And is there a plan for you to move out to that area eventually, Jan?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I basically had to sort of disassemble. I was married to the same man for 47 years, and we lived in the same house for about 45 of those years. So, and I'm sort of a crapaholic, I'll be honest. I'm fascinated by gadgetry and projects, and I've always got some idea that's cooking. I've got one cooking right now. I think it actually could make some money, but anyhow, my brain's too busy. So anyhow, but one thing and another with COVID and so many things happening, and I got crooked I used to think that country people were pretty honest, and I'm sure a lot of them are, but I haven't had good luck with them. And so I got ripped off a couple times. And so anyway, but that's the kind of thing that happens to you too when I'd been through years of coping with crises and stress, and I was just kind of done. I finally was ready to quit almost, and then I had to sell the house. I think I sold our house about 6 days before the trustee sale. Just ahead of the chopping block. I sold it to a flipper, and I got enough money to buy this acreage. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's got a year-round creek on the property.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big enough to appear on the old land maps.
Yeah.
And lots of woods. And so, I'll figure out. I've always wanted to live in the country, but I've been forced to live in the city. But now I don't have to answer to anybody.
There
and
you go. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. I hope. But I don't know if I'll ever see a Sasquatch. I have seen pictures of them that I regard as being very credible. And those are ugly, ugly creatures.
They get pretty wild. Yeah. But Jan, I appreciate you calling in to let us know what you got going on. Please keep us in the loop if things progress on that property you have down in Missouri.
Yeah, thank you. And if it's once I get settled in, if it's I don't want to deal with a bunch of clowns, but if it's somebody serious who wants to come out and look around and see if they can find something, hey, I might be open to that. Okay. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for chatting, Jan, and maybe we'll be chatting with you later.
Yeah, hopefully. All right.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good one. Whew. Wild and crazy stuff, you guys. Hope you are buckled up and ready to go because we got someone else to call it back. Man, we're over 100 people. We're up to 108. Guys, we are rocking. We're rolling. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter you want to call in with, make sure that you fill out the guest release form, bit.ly/Bigfoot form. Then you can call the phone number. If I don't pick up, it's because I'm on the phone with someone else, and I will call you back, okay? So let's rock and roll. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's your name?
Josh.
Josh. All right. Well, thanks for calling, Josh. Did you fill out the guest release form?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you calling in. We see that we have audio in the chat. So I'm going to let you go ahead, and the floor is yours, my friend. Feel free to share what you've been experiencing.
Okay, my name's Josh. I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, and I had an experience while hunting here, and I thought it would be interesting to share it. I didn't see anything, but you'll see from the story that it's pretty interesting what happened. And if you'd like to, I'll share it.
Absolutely. Are you able? Are we just going to leave it at Northeast Pennsylvania, and that's about as detailed, or?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
It's kind of interesting. I'm actually pretty close to where the albino Sasquatch was filmed.
Carbondale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not in Carbondale, but I'm kind of close. So
I went to school in that area, so I know it. So yeah, interesting. Well, let's.
It's a beautiful area up here.
So beautiful. Yeah, Scranton area, good stuff.
Yep.
Well, go right ahead, my friend.
Okay, this was mid-October. It was crossbow bow season, archery season, and it was right before dark. I'm disabled, so I hunt on my own property. It's a decent little chunk, but I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I get nervous talking about this because it did scare the living daylights out of me. But it was probably right before dark, and I thought ended up getting a deer. So if anyone here hunts, you probably know the worst feeling is wounding an animal if you can't get it. So I thought I got it. I went back to the house, got a flashlight. I'm usually armed when I go out there. And the sun started going down, so I went out to start looking. The field on my property, it's about 400 yards to the back of it. and I saw the deer directly straight down the middle. So I followed. I'm checking for blood trail. I really didn't see anything. I get to the end. I go into the woods, and about 10 feet into the woods, I just hear, it was so loud. You could feel it almost in your chest. It's just something it's hard to describe. I really apologize if I'm all over the place, but it scared the living daylights out of me.
You're okay.
So I turn around. I start walking down back down the center of the field. Now I'm disabled. I was in a very bad, car accident. I really can't run anymore. So as I'm going down the field, I hear something, and it's across the fields, maybe let's say 100 yards. I'm in the center. To the left of me, I hear something, and it's pacing me. It's staying right to the left of me. And in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, it can't be a bear. I've never seen a bear do something like that. I've never heard a bear, pace you and basically keep, stay just right to my left. And as I'm going, you can hear it, and it wasn't it wasn't a four-legged animal. That was pretty clear. I could hear 2 footsteps, and on the side there, it's tall brush with a few trees. So I'm shining the light over, and I could see the trees moving. There was something there behind them. And this whole time, I'm just trying to get up back to the house. And I really thought it was going to, come out and try to stop me. I thought it was going to flank me. And I finally make it up back to the house. And at that point, I stopped hearing things. I stopped hearing it. So I wasn't sure what it was doing. But it was one of those experiences that just, to this day, I can't really go out prior to daylight. It was one of those that I apologize again. It
sounds
it
like
was one of those
really
things
affected you. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've had other experiences here around, I forget what night it was. It was about 2 a.m, and I just hear something banging on my neighbor's barn where they keep some of their animals. And I go to them the next day. I'm like, well, did you guys hear that? No, we didn't hear anything. I'm like, how did you not hear that? There was something literally just banging, trying to get in. And it's just, I don't know. I always hear people talk about how they want to see something like this or they want to see one. I didn't see a thing, and it still scares the daylights out of me.
Have you ever reached out to any researchers in the area?
No.
Okay.
It's something that I don't really, there's still kind of not a stigma, but
sure.
You know what I mean? It's just not something. I've talked to a few people about it, and they kind of looked like, it was probably something we know, a bear or this or that, but this was it was too strange. It was just something that, it's just hard it's even hard to talk about. It scared the living daylights out of me.
Absolutely. I definitely tell it shook you up, and I would be, it sounds like you're aware of your surroundings when you're going out, which is good. If you're ever wanting to talk to a researcher, there's a guy that he's all over the top of the state, but I think he's out in the Poconos sometimes as well. His name is Matt Arner. He's a really good guy. You can find him on Facebook. It's Arner. It's his last name, but I've interviewed him before on this podcast. But he's a really good guy.
Okay.
He's over by Allegheny, that area too. He does stuff over there. So.
Okay, because I grew up upstate New York.
Okay.
So I don't really, there's been things up there that I've heard about, but nothing like this. This was just, it's just hard to talk about because it's just, you almost have this feeling like there's nothing you can do. If it wants you, there's really nothing you can do about it. And I've had other experiences where sitting, I can't go in tree stands anymore, but sitting at the benches at the bottom of trees, a half hour, maybe 45 minutes before daylight. And you're sitting, I'm sitting there, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's just this fear comes over you. And it's like, there has to be something, it's not a bear looking at me or not. It's just, you get this deep, it's almost like a primal fear. Like, I think that our ancestors had to have experiences with these. I really don't think it's something that, it's almost like we understand that these things probably preyed upon us at one point, throughout, the history of, humanity or whatever.
When you were sitting at the bottom of the tree and you started feeling that way, what sounds were you hearing in the woods around you?
Well, that's just it. Not much of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear the wind going through. Overall, it's just, I don't know what it was. I mean, I had one experience where I was going to that bench, and something just ran as fast as it could away. And that sounded like it was on two legs. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the greatest, the most experienced hunter out there, but I can understand if something's on four legs, if it's on two legs, you can hear the difference.
Sure.
There's not really they don't sound the same at all. You can tell if something's on two legs. And I don't know. I've just had some weird experiences. I know I don't want to get to where I'm at, but right on Route 6 over here, there was a dog man sighting a few years ago.
Really?
I think one of the hyena-faced ones.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
not those.
I think right south of me, they had I think since the 50s, the Susquehanna Screamer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
You should listen to my interview with Matt Arner, because he actually talks about that. That in Medics Run Mike, which is another regional Bigfoot out there. But yeah, you would probably find that episode interesting if you haven't checked it out yet.
No, I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate you, taking the time to listen. I mean, I know it's not really, a crazy encounter where I've seen something, but it was one of those things where I really can't explain what it could have been. And considering some of the, the other sightings around here, I really don't know what to make of it,
Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing. If this is how maybe you're able to get the info for a researcher in your area, then it's definitely worth it. And I appreciate you sharing what you experienced so far.
No, I mean, right now, I never want to talk about this again, to be completely honest.
Sure. Gotcha.
This was one of those things that the week after that, I didn't sleep at all. It was I was up sitting on the couch, to be honest, with a rifle across my lap, just scared to death that, is something going to come up near the house? Or, I mean, I've had a few times where my dog, I'll wake up like 2 a.m. and she's just staring at the wall, growling. And I'm like, oh, it's either a bear or there's something outside, tipping her off. But yeah, it just,
wow.
That was one of those things. But
very interesting. Well, thank you so much for calling in, friend.
No, don't worry about it. Thank you for having me on, and thank the viewers for putting up with me for a few minutes while I just say what happened. But
you have a great night.
Okay, you too.
Wow. We've got a lot of people watching and a lot of people trying to call in. I appreciate everyone that has called in so far. There's a lot of great chat going on in the chat. Let me go ahead and see. I will try to get caught up here. For those that are new, this is Bigfoot Encounters Live from Bigfoot Society. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter that you'd like to share live on the show, this is YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Please fill out the release form, bit.ly/Bigfoot forum. Then you can call 515-809-0165. This is recorded for the podcast. It'll probably be used for the podcast. And yeah, let's see who else we've got in here. We got Mark Paul chatting a lot. It's good to see you, friend. Yeah, guys. Guys talking to Mark. He's a fun guy to talk to. That's what I will say. He's a great guy to talk to. Let's see. Looking. Oh, hey, Burton Moran is here. Good to see you, friend. Always good to see you in here. Man, tons and tons. Machine Gun says, when they come near your area in the middle of the night, you will hear a couple really loud stomps. Boom, boom. You also feel the ground vibrate and hear a tree, not a branch, but an actual tree being broken in half. Interesting. Wow. Thanks to everyone who has called in tonight so far. I appreciate you all calling in. Bob, good to see you. Glad you're here. While we are waiting to see if we've got any other calls, we've been going for about an hour right now. So this is Bigfoot Encounters Live from Bigfoot Society Podcast. I release multiple episodes every week. Usually they are interviews with people that have seen Bigfoot or that are researching Bigfoot and seen Bigfoot, but mainly Bigfoot witnesses. You can find my podcast on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe and that you hit the bell icon so that you know when the next time I'll be going live is. You get a notification for that. And make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast platform. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the big guys. We are there. And multiple episodes per week. So if you have issues getting through your workday, we'll be there to help you out. Trust me, we'll be there to help you out. Plenty of things to listen to. I think tomorrow is going to be episode 435. So tons and tons. Let's see. Kimberly's got a question. Jeremiah, I really appreciate all your content. You're really cool to listen to. Thanks, friend. Are there any stories from Northern Illinois you can share with us? Let me bring up Illinois. Well, hold that thought. Peoria, Illinois. I did an episode on it.
Robinson.
Are there any?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hi, Jeremiah. This is William. I just wanted to let you know I don't actually have a new signing or anything, but I'm in the process of moving to Orange Beach, Alabama, in South Alabama, out on the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
I've heard some vague rumors about Bigfoot sightings there, but I wondered if you or any of your audience had any, specific information about Bigfoot sightings in South Alabama.
So this is Orange Beach, Alabama?
Right. It's on the Gulf Coast.
You know what? I haven't, but I know where I would look. I've heard of more things near mid-Alabama to northern Alabama. Down there, I would look up they call the GCBRO, Gulf Coast Bigfoot Research Organization, and they have a ton of sightings from down there in the south, especially on the Gulf. I would check down on that website. It's all stuff you're not going to find on the BFRO site. But yeah, I mean, I've heard stuff about Alabama, but it's going to be more towards Talladega National Forest, which is up there,
right.
North of Montgomery.
Kind of
right?
east central Alabama. Yeah,
exactly. Out where the Alabama white thing was seen up in Jefferson and Etowah County area as well. But if you run into some stuff down there in the Gulf, I would love to hear about it because I've never really gotten much from the Gulf area to be honest.
Oh, you bet, man. You take care. Good to hear from you on the air again.
All right. Thanks for calling in real quick, friend.
Bye-bye.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Oh, so as I was saying, so Illinois, the furthest north that I've heard is going to be in a town called Peoria. Holy mackerel, we're getting a lot of calls, and this is awesome. Okay, here we go.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Hi, this is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, friend. Who is this?
This is Cairo.
Oh, hey, Cairo. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. I didn't know if you was on the line with someone else or not, or if I'd have to leave you a voicemail or whatever. But I really appreciate you calling me back, man. I got a couple really nice stories. They're pretty much short and sweet. I won't take up too much time. But, yeah, dude. So I live in southeastern Kentucky in a really small town. And so I'll cut straight to the chase, man. Basically, this was like last year. And I came home from work, you know, and I was chilling on the back porch. Normal day, sitting there smoking a Camel Blue, which I don't smoke anymore, thank God. But just sitting there doing my thing, relaxing, getting ready to do some chores around the house. And my cousin lives right next door to us. And they have a huge orchard. Like their whole entire backyard is gardens and an orchard field. And I look up there periodically because I like to see, you know, like all the deers that come in and all the other wildlife that comes in. My children enjoy seeing it. And I just happened to look up there, and out of nowhere, at the edge of the field, stood what I thought was a bear, jet black. And I thought, oh, wow. But then I noticed it was bipedal. And my first reaction was to grab my phone. I reached for my phone, realized it was on charge in the house. It had died on me at work. And I thought, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And so my next reaction was to grab my .22 pellet rifle, but not to shoot or to even scare it away for that matter. That was the last thing I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was look through that scope. And I did just that. It was already making eye contact with me before I even seen this thing, mind you. And as soon as I grabbed that gun and threw it to my shoulder, it turned to its right and began pacing off. And when I mean pacing off, it took probably 4 good steps and was already back behind the tree line. And all I could get was I seen a big black blob standing on 2 legs leaving here. And in about 4 seconds, my neighbor's dogs out the road were going absolutely berserk. I mean, they were telling it. They was laying it off. And from here, you could see the skyline and like little patches of light through the thick trees. And all I could see through that scope was those patches of light depleting into darkness. And it left. And I had never been like a hardcore Bigfoot enthusiast or researcher or anything until last year. I'd always, you know, been interested in it, but I had never wanted to get so involved with something like that as much as I am now. These things are real, man. They're here, they're real, and I would like to share these stories so that other people, you know, would come out with it, because a lot of people keep it under their hat because they're afraid that they're going to get ridiculed, because they're afraid people's going to make fun of them, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the area you're in, that Eastern Kentucky area, has some wild things come out of it. But so you said that you were looking through your scope at what you were seeing at the creature. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you see any?
And I did get a good view.
You did?
Yes.
Do you remember any details of what you saw?
I would say that it was probably about 7 foot tall. I'm not going to exaggerate and say, oh, it was 10 or 11 foot tall. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 6 foot tall, and I know what a normal person looks like from here when they're up in that orchard, because my father goes up there with my kids, and I do too, to gather apples and everything. And we're also going up there all the time doing work for my cousin next door. And often, if I don't go, I'll be here on the back porch watching, you know, just to make sure that my kids are minding and whatnot. And it's a size comparison type thing. I know what a normal person looks like at the edge of those woods from here.
Right.
This was no man. I promise you that. This was no man. This was no bear. It was jet black, about 7 foot tall. The arms is probably the main thing that I noticed, other than its just complete bulk size of it. I mean, it was phenomenal. The arms hung down. Like, if I were to stand up straight and put my arms straight down, my hands are going to stop a little bit below my waist. Okay? This thing had arms that hung down almost to its knees. And that's saying a lot, because this thing was 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Or better. And so I did not go up there. It kind of freaked me out. I wish now that I would have, to go and look for tracks, but it was really dry during that time last year. So I figured I would just be wasting my time. You know, but I wish now that I would have, just in case.
Right.
But I didn't. And so also, that's one story I got. My second story, we were finding some morel mushrooms early on in the spring. That's kind of a big thing here. And it was a pretty abundant year. We found close to 300 this year. And I know that to some of you, that's just a drop in the bucket. But for us here, that was a big deal, and we enjoyed them. My kids love to eat them. I love to eat them. And so we were doing that. And we were going up toward a place that we know that's called Wells Camp. Locals here know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not quite sure if I want to disclose that location or not. But if there's any locals watching this, they will know exactly who I am and what I'm talking about. But so we was up on the backside of Wells Camp, and it is treacherous. These mountainsides are literally steeper than a cow's face, Jeremiah. It is wild.
Wow.
Yes. And we were in the middle of nowhere at the dead end there. And we get out of the truck, and we barely had enough room at the end of that dead end to even turn around. So we get out of the truck, we get headed up through there, and my dad says, he was like, well, look here. He was like, it looks like some big-footed person's already been in here. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Who's going to be here? There's been nobody here but us in the past 10 years. What are you talking about? And he was like, come look. And I wear a size 12 Rocky Bear Claw. And keep that in mind. And I looked down what he was pointing at, and there was a 14-inch humanoid footprint with clearly 5 toes. And it had a heel on it bigger than my fist, way bigger than my fist. The pad of the foot directly below the toes was abnormally wider than they should have been for a normal person. And just the whole entire size and structure of that footprint was abnormal for any human being. And it must have weighed a lot, because in those emails, when I sent you those pictures,
Yep.
you can see those are deep. Those are really deep footprints.
Yeah.
And if you would like, you can pull that up right now for the live feed so they can see them. And that would be great.
As of right, my email is a mess, and that will happen, but I don't know if right now is the right time to try to do that on live. But thank you.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome. You've got my permission to do what you want with those.
Yep.
That's not a problem. I would love to share that with everybody and let them see that. And that would mean the world to me. And like I said, that would also give comfort to anybody else that may have pictures of their own or may have stories of their own, and give them the comfort that they need to come forward and not be bashful and ashamed of what they have to provide for this community, for this type of stuff, because it's awesome. It's real. There's no reason to be ashamed of it. You know, excuse me. But yeah, and we went on up through there, and you know, after that, I took those pictures and everything. There was also a small one too. I sent you those too. But we went on up through there, and we did find some hickory chickens. That's what we call them here. Most people just call them mushrooms or morels. Here we call them hickory chickens. But yeah, we went on up through there, and we found a bunch. And the other evidence I was telling you about also in those emails, and I don't know if this is in correspondence with these tracks or what, but I seen some small saplings that were clearly alive still. And they were all bent and broken and pointed in the same direction.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I don't know if anybody listening, or possibly you or anyone, knows what that could mean, if that's in correspondence with Bigfoot actions. I don't know. But I did find those tracks right at the bottom of the hill where I found those bent over saplings, and they were all pointed in the same direction. And I just thought that was really interesting.
I've heard that come up in other reports where they just see a massive amount of trees kind of bent over. Yeah, it's very, very interesting stuff. I mean, I have as many questions about the whole trees and tree structures and all that as I do about Bigfoot itself. But it's weird stuff, definitely. But
for sure.
When you were looking at the Bigfoot and from the first story, do you remember any specific details of the face at all when you were looking through the scope?
The face did not have hair on it, and it looked rather pale, almost like a grayish color.
Okay.
The fur was jet black, and that's initially why I thought it was a big black bear. And like, it freaked me out for sure, because like, as soon as I looked up there, this thing already knew that I was there. I don't know if it just heard my screen door slam when I came outside and sat down or what, but it was already there making eye contact with me like, what are you? You know, it was one of them kind of deals.
Did you get... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good.
Did you see it move around at all, walk around the area?
Yes, I did. Yes, I sure did.
Do you remember anything? You know, like how a person has a gait. Do you remember anything? Was there anything out of the ordinary about the way it was walking?
It was a longer stride. I noticed that, but it kind of didn't have a choice because it was so big. The arms swang forward and backward a lot farther than ours would have because it had such long arms. So there's that, and the stride too. And it looked like almost as if like, you know, a lot of people walk straight-legged, but it's like when this thing took off, it's like it had a slight bend of the knee. It's like it would crouch as it took each step.
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting. And yeah. I wish I could have got videos of that or at least a photo. But of course, my phone was in here dead in a doorknob on charge.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been there as well with electronics and not having charges. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the curse of the Bigfoot.
That was a bummer. Yeah, that was definitely a bummer. But I did get a clear view through that scope. And like I said, that's the only reason I even picked up that little 22 pellet rifle was just so I could look at it. And I did get a very clear view. I mean, I know what I saw.
That's awesome. Squatch and Holler, which, guys, if you're not subscribed to him, Roger, you need to be. Do you remember if it was thick in the waist or if it was thin?
It was thick. It was thick all over.
Interesting.
Everything about this thing was absolutely massive. From the chest plumb down to the feet. I even seen the feet.
Really?
There were no shoes. Yes. There were no shoes. This was no person. This was no man. This was no bear. It was a Bigfoot. I mean, there's no other logical explanation for it.
If you had to, huge. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said it was huge.
Absolutely. Frank is asking. So, if you had to categorize it just with a snap judgment, would you say the face looked more ape or more human, or maybe neither?
I would say more apish. Now, keep in mind, my eyes are not the best. Okay. I've had a lot of things done to my eyes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I actually had one of my eyeballs crushed inside of my skull with an ice ball at school one time.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yeah, and this is rather off topic, but as it expanded inside of my skull, the iris in my eye actually began filling up with blood. It made it up to halfway, and the doctor said that if it were to completely fill up, that I would have been permanently blind in that eye. Yeah, so my vision is not the best, but I do know what I saw. I can still see, you know. I'm not blind by any means. Sure. I can still hunt. I can still drive. I'm not legally blind, you know, but I couldn't tell you like every single fine grain detail, but I do know that the face looked like an ape.
Okay.
From here. And it was probably, I don't know, 40, 45 yards, 50 yards maybe, tops away.
Gotcha.
And the face looked like an ape. It was palish, grayish colored. no hair on the face. Maybe it had some underneath hair, like somewhat of a beard, maybe like hair. I couldn't see anything around its mouth or on its face. The top of its head had shorter hair than the rest of it. But all through its shoulders and its chest, its forearms and everything, its waist, its belly, its legs, its feet, it was all huge. It was all huge, completely jet black, just like a shiny black bear.
That's really interesting.
And the rest of the hair, it seemed like it had shaggier hair in its arms and lower body than it did on its chest and its head. Its arms had really long, coarse, thick, shaggy, black, shiny hair, and so did its lower body.
Okay.
And I will say this: it did look female because it looked like its chest was a bit more than just muscle, if you will.
Yeah.
It looked like it had some breasts there.
Right.
Jeremiah. So I think it was a female.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow, Cairo, I'm glad you called in tonight for sure. You are
Me
on.
too.
You're on the pile of emails for me to respond to. That grows every day. It's wild.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's wild. There is no question in my mind this thing is real, just by the massive amount of people that are reaching out every single day. It's crazy. And I've experienced stuff myself in the woods. It's crazy, man. I love it.
Love to hear about that. Yeah, I know it is. You're a very busy person. You're covering a busy topic.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the heck out of what you do. It means the world to me and so many more people, as you can see. And I love it, man. Thank you so much for what you do.
Well, thank you.
And not a problem. I hope you put this on. I'd love to show my friends and everything and let everybody else hear what the viewers also that called in tonight had to say. We're all very interested, man. And I love your show. I'm a pretty big fan. And I appreciate the heck out of what you do, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cairo, for calling in. I'll be in touch.
Not a problem, man. Thank you, Jeremiah.
You got it.
All right, man. See you, bro.
Bye.
You too.
Oh, man, that was wild. Thank you, Cairo, for calling in. That was good stuff. Man, tonight is just popping. 136 people live. I appreciate every one of you being here. We are coming up to the 10 p.m. Central Standard Time hour. Let me try to get caught up here. Let's see. Good stuff. Man, we got a lot of people in here. I want to say, let me find one. Where's this comment? Hey, Turtle Island, how's it going? Good to see you in here. Let's see. While we're waiting to see if there's any more calls, let me know what if you go out in the woods and you go looking for Bigfoot, what audio recorder do you use in your research? Myself, I use a Tascam DR05X. It's a really good. Richard, what does this mean? Richard, have you researched the siege at Honubby? It gets tough living with them. Okay, so Richard, are you from Honubby? Here's the thing. I've tried to research the siege at Honubby. No one likes talking. People don't like talking about that. I mean, I've got hopefully some people that are coming on, but the people that are from the area that are not into Bigfoot, they really are just extremely bothered by it, I think. They probably have to deal with people coming into their small town every single day trying to look for Bigfoot for the last 20 years. So, Richard, if you're from Honabi, let me know. I would be interested to talk to you. Let's see. Tam, any reports in Central Ohio? Oh my goodness, dude. There are reports all over Ohio. You should, yeah, and also Dogman stuff too, as Jeffrey just said. London, Ohio has werewolf. If you go to BFRO, the BFRO website, I think it's bfro.net, yeah. And if you don't like the BFRO, you can also go to bigfootmap.com, which I like the Bigfoot Mapping Project because Scott, who runs it, is awesome. Also, let me, actually, I'll bring it up right now. I'll show you guys while we're waiting. Bigfootmap.com. Okay. I got to make sure I'm presenting the right screen. Hold on, guys. Man, it's taken a little bit of time to load. Might not be working right now. Yeah, we'll have to. I don't think that's going to work right now. Sorry about that. So, let's see. So, yeah, okay, good point, Jeff. Yeah, Salt Fork, enough said. Tam, look up sightings around Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. Wild stuff. Hi from Phoenix, Arizona. Gigi Becca, good to see you. Guys, if you're new, man, we're almost up to 150 live. I appreciate everyone hanging out on a Saturday night. If you are new to this, this is Bigfoot Encounters live call-in show from the Bigfoot Society Podcast. If you have a Bigfoot, actually, hold on. Let me take off Do Not Disturb. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is terrible. If you've got a Bigfoot encounter and you'd like to call in and share that live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, you can go ahead and do that. Just fill out the Bigfoot form, the guest release, bit.ly/Bigfoot form. Then you can call 515-809-0165. We are coming up at about an hour and a half. Let's see. Richard, I'm not from there, but know a few that tell me about the annual festival they have in Honabi. Personally, I'm more interested in Area X and the Big Thicket. Yeah, totally. No, I get it. Squatch and Hollers is teasing everyone with this. I have audio I can't share yet from Ohio. That is crazy. Supposedly a dogman. Well, guys, you want to make sure that you're subscribed to Squatch and Hollers channel so that you don't miss out on that. It's a great channel. If you like my channel, you will like his channel. And he's a great mod too. Let's see. Machine Gun. The next live, I do lives every week, Saturday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you're subscribed to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. Good stuff. We're going to go for, unless someone calls in, we'll go until 10:15. Okay. So, some stuff that I will oh yeah. I do want to shout out. Thank you to Oso Loco, who became a YouTube channel member, a supporting YouTube channel member during the live. Appreciate you. Also, if you like to get extra content, extra episodes, I come out with an extra episodes for the podcast every Wednesday. You can get those by becoming a YouTube channel member. Just hit the join button. You can also join the Patreon if you'd like instead. The Patreon has a great group of supporters there. We do a lot of fun stuff. We also do a live watch party. We're doing one of those tomorrow. We're watching through the Survivor Man Bigfoot series. We also have an end of the month hangout video chat. So that is fun as well. You can go to patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society if you want to do that. If you have a Bigfoot encounter and you don't want to call in and share live, you can also email me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. There's no problem if you want to share that way instead of calling in live. That's no problem. Let's see. So, yeah, we're having a good time here. If you would like to, I love when I go to events and someone comes up and is like, I listen to the podcast, and I'm like, oh my goodness, people actually listen to this thing? Just kidding. So if you want to meet me in person, you can. There's a few places I'm going to be this year. So I'll be at Monster Fest in Canton, Ohio, coming up end of June, I believe. So it's coming up quick. And I'll be doing a live episode of the podcast. My guest will be Justin from Cryptids of the Corn. We're going to have a good time. Also, I will be out in Oak Ridge, Oregon. That's around the weekend of like July 19th and 20th. I'll be out there, and I'm not presenting anything. I'm not vending, but they said, hey, if you want to come out here, we'll hook you up with free admission, and they said we got a couch for you. So I was like, well, that's good enough for me. I just got to get out there. So I'll be hanging out in Oak Ridge, Oregon at the festival, trying to get interviews from people around the town and at the festival. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've been talking to people on Facebook about Bigfoot from Oak Ridge. I have 30 contacts already just from Facebook. Everyone who lives in that town has had some kind of Bigfoot interaction. So very, very excited about that. Also, I'm going to be at the Van Meter Visitor Festival in Van Meter, Iowa. This is last weekend of September. So you can see me there. I'll be vending at a table, so I have lots of people come up, share their encounters around Iowa. We had a individual who shared their track cast they made in Iowa. That's in Van Meter, Iowa. It's just outside of West Des Moines, which is just outside of Des Moines, which is in central Iowa, for all those who aren't really familiar with Iowa. You're missing out. Guys, we're having a good time. The chat is wild. The chat, this is exactly what I want. I want the chat to just be popping off and people becoming friends and sharing stuff. That's what I want to see happening, and it is happening. So I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you hit the bell icon. Make sure you look up Bigfoot Society on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to us there. Share a favorite show with a friend, guys. The goal is to become full-time podcast by the end of the year. And then if that happens, I'll be able to start going more places, maybe interviewing people in person. And that would be a really big deal. So if you would ever consider supporting the podcast, now is the time to do it. If you can swing it, you can become a Patreon member. That's right, Frank, or a YouTube channel member. And if you can't swing either of those, I just appreciate you sharing the podcast, some episodes with all your friends. Share it with your Bigfoot groups on your social media, all that good stuff. Diana's making s'mores and having them for us. So thank you, Diana, for that. Really makes me want to have s'mores. All right. It's counting down. I'm going to check the phone here. We got about 10 minutes left. So this is last call. If anyone has a Bigfoot encounter they would like to share, now's the time to call in. You can go ahead and you can fill out the guest release form, bit.ly/Bigfoot form, and then call 515-809-0165. That's right, Mark Paul. To the moon. Mark, the moon is coming. It is coming, my friend. You know. You absolutely know. I appreciate you being a YouTube channel member, Mark. Your support is awesome. Machine Gun, that's funny. I will hope that you call in next week, Machine Gun. That would be awesome. Ooh, I thought that was a call, but it was just a notification. Guys, as we end this out, let me know, are you going to be, what festivals or conferences are you going to be at this summer, this fall? Yeah, Casey True Love, I'll give you a shout out. What's up? Appreciate you being here. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, Diana. I'll share what I've in the last few minutes. I'll share what I've experienced so far. Okay, so my buddy Tate Hieronymus, and if you want to see these in documentary form, you can go to Tate's YouTube channel, Sasquatch: A Search for Sabe. 2 years ago, Tate got me to go out to his area, which is undisclosed location in Iowa. Very wooded location, surprisingly. We got out there. It was super hot. We're hanging out by the fire. All of a sudden, and our audio recorders weren't going, a huge tree gets pushed over in front of us about 30 feet in the woods. We're freaked out. We're like, what is going on? I was like, was that a firework? And he's like, dude, there's no fireworks. We're so far out in the woods. I was like, yeah, fair enough. He starts to do some tree knocks. We get tree knocks back. Okay, so it's pretty wild, right? We get, I believe those are on recorded on audio. The last night, so I'm in a tent. Tate is car camping. I record some audio at about 3:30 a.m. on my audio recorder. I record 3 wood knocks, so a set of 3 wood knocks, and the sound of a tent zipper being unzipped. Yeah, Mark, exactly. I heard a tree get pushed over. The zipper being unzipped freaked me out because I was like, well, was that my own tent being unzipped? I don't remember my tent being unzipped, right? I did not leave my tent until it was way past that. We did realize later on that the audio recorder was about 30 feet away from camp and that it sounded like it was very close. So we're also thinking maybe it was a mimic sound, right? So that was some weird stuff that happened the first time. Last year, I went with Tate, Ron Reed, Ontario Richardson, so a few other researchers as well. We did some it was more intense research. We went for hikes around the area, heard some weird stuff. One night we were out, we did hear what we thought was mumbling out in the woods, close to what's been reported in a few documentaries recently. It was really weird. But the weirdest thing that happened to me was the last night. So I was in my tent again. Ron was in his tent. We went to bed late because we had been out hiking, night hiking. So we went to bed super late. I get woken up out of a deep sleep at about 3:30 a.m. to the sound of 2 whoops out in the woods. And I was like half excited, half freaked out, right? I was like, holy mackerel. Why is Ontario doing whoops out in the woods? Because I was coming out of a deep sleep. Because she was doing whoops earlier that night. We were playing the Sierra sounds too. That may have been a mistake, but we were playing them as loud as we could, right? And I think it brought something in. So now you're going to ask, did you get these recorded? Nope, because I did not change the batteries on my recorder before I went to bed. So my recorder died before all this stuff kicked off. That was a tough lesson to learn. That won't happen again. So I heard 2 whoops in the woods around the same time. My buddy Ron over in his tent found or heard a long call or a long howl, like a woo, right? Ontario from her car thinks she heard something like maybe a car door slam, which that's another mimicked sound that's pretty popular for researchers to hear. So yeah, I have so far, and I want to go to that place again. So hopefully that happens again. But I've had some interesting things happen so far in this one area in Iowa. I have not had any visuals, and I hope to have some interesting things happen when I go out to Oregon this July. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Be good stuff. Well, we're getting up to the end. I appreciate you all hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. But thanks to everyone for hanging out for almost 2 hours. Thanks to everyone who called in. And make sure that you share the channel with a friend. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell, and we will see you next time. And also, Squatch and Holler. Check out Squatch and Holler's channel. Make sure you're subscribed to him too. But have a good all. I appreciate you all hanging out.